Tim deleted his entire manuscript off of his computer and was ready to call this writing thing quits. And that's one of the reasons we're discussing today how to write, publish, and sell an ebook. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. The thing was, it was a few months ago, and Tim, he was an aspiring writer. He had always had a bunch of stories in his mind of things he wanted to get into the world, these stories that he had written as a kid. And now that he was an adult, he was thinking that, you know what? He actually has these ideas and he wants to do it. So the thing was, by wanting to get into this whole writing, publishing, and he had heard a lot about ebooks and getting it out, but it appeared to be that the whole process was a bit too complicated for him. So he was watching some of the videos where I was talking about just about how easy it is to get started with self-publishing and to create your ebooks. The problem is that he had these stories in his head, but he wasn't sure that if he was a good enough writer to actually put them into the world where somebody would want to read it. Now this is, by the way, a very common problem. Self-doubt, the idea that you have these stories and that nobody in the world is going to want to hear them. Now here's a little bit of a secret before we continue with this story. It's the fact that there are people who will resonate with you no matter who you are or what you write. So the quality of your writing itself is not necessarily, to a certain point, as important as finding that audience that will resonate with you. Now, clearly, if you have natural skills at writing, you're going to be able to get it out and find this audience a lot faster. But even a person who's not particularly all that great at writing still will sell books to people who will be very satisfied with the books that they purchase, because every single voice of everyone in the world has other people who will, when their ears hear that voice and the stories that they have to tell, will sit there and wait and really want to hear every single word that comes out of their mouth. And this is a complete fact that blew me away. I used to think that you had to be a top-level writer for anybody to want to buy your books, and that was one of the reasons Tim was a little bit doubting his own ability on this. So what he did was he started writing a little bit, right? He got going on his book. He was very excited, but then was like, nobody's going to want to read this. So he completely erased it off of his computer and then started from scratch again. This time he decided, I shouldn't start writing until I've taken a lot of different courses on how to go about writing. And this was a huge barrier for him, because when you first get writing and you're making progress, the last thing you need to do is go through a bunch of courses. Courses are useful once we've got some progress, once we've perhaps produced something and seen how well it can do. Then at this point, we go back and we read books and we take courses on the particular subject. A lot of people are in the habit of doing this whole just-in-case learning. That is, learning things before you're absolutely really ready to get going with those things and using them and implementing them with regards to your books. And so this is something that you definitely do not want to fall into the trap that Tim was falling into. But he was thinking, well, maybe I should wait a little bit. And I'm telling you, you should not wait. At least get your first book on the market. Then we go back and take courses to figure out how we can improve upon the quality of your writing. At this point, Tim was reading one of my blogs, and he saw that I was suggesting that there is a much easier way of going about doing this entire process. So we broke it down. After a discovery session, we were going through the exact steps that I lay out on this very channel. Now, each of the steps I'm about to tell you, it's a secret, because the fact is that they go incredibly deep and difficult, which is the one thing we don't want to do on this channel. But wait a second, I thought this is supposed to be easy with this whole self-publishing thing, and here I am telling you that it's going to be difficult. Well, not really. It's going to be easy when we go through it the right way. And the right way is not trying to make everything perfect, but rather we move slowly through the steps, and once we've completed our first round and put our very first book on the market, then we're ready to go the next layer deeper on each of those steps. We don't get burned out, but at the same time, the complexity and the difficulty of each of these steps can be insanely difficult and can kill your entire publishing process. So when I was sitting with Tim, I pointed out to him, the first thing is we need to get a manuscript. So I tried to see if he could get the one he had erased. He had lost it completely. So I said, okay, since we're starting from scratch, we can actually do this the right way. And the right way is we figure out what it is you're interested in. And we went on to Amazon using KDSpy, my favorite tool for researching other books, and found out which books in which genre were specifically selling a lot of copies, but didn't have so many books on the market. So what Tim did was he went through the issues in the areas that he was interested in. We found a few of them that we could simply shift a little bit into a market that actually was profitable. There is nothing more difficult, like a sailboat hoping for wind. Why don't we figure out where the wind is already blowing and then put our sails facing that area? Now, we still need to make sure it's a niche or genre that we're interested in, that we can publish multiple books in, because that's key to winning. Remember, this isn't about becoming a millionaire overnight with your self-publishing. It's about getting a series of books that are going to build an audience, and we're going to build this fire and get it going, okay? And that is something that so many authors do not understand. They either expect it to be super easy, which it isn't, and they quit, or they expect their books to sell an infinite number of copies when they first release, which they don't. And in Tim's case, he thought it would be easier than it would be, and so he was trying to make things perfect, and he was choosing the hard way of doing it. So that was the first thing, which was he found the niche that he was going to write in. Very important step, and perhaps the most important step that I talk to almost all of my free discovery clients about, is we're going through exactly your books. Even this week, already looking at somebody's books, they're actually selling copies of it, but at the same time, are they selling as many copies as they could? So with tomorrow's discovery session I'll be having with them, we'll be taking a look exactly at this issue. So the thing is, putting out through 500 to 1,000 words a day. That's the next point for Tim. Tim needed to go through and make sure that he was producing on a daily basis a certain number of words. Now, you can do sitting in chair, known as the button chair method, to make sure that you're going on the right track, where you're sitting in your chair and you're pumping out these words. Now, some people, they say, look, you should wait until the muse comes, right? Until somebody inspires you to do this. And I'm telling you, that is a terrible idea. That is the way you lose. You win by dedicating time to make sure you're going to get so and so many words. I'm saying 500 or 1,000 words a day until we get this book done. Now, I know some of you, I get pushback from you, and there's a lot of fake gurus who say, oh, it should just be easy. You should be able to get the words automatically. And I'm telling you, you're going to need to work through it. So Tim heard this particular thing and was, okay, wrote it down. The next thing was hire a Fiverr editor. You can find editors. Just make sure it's somebody who's got 500, 1,000 reviews, and you should be plenty good to go with that particular editing option if you go with the Fiverr route. The next thing is we're going to format the book using Jutoh, my favorite tool for doing the formatting. It's so easy. We just get it in there. Then we needed a cover for Tim, and we go to 99 Designs and we put in a thing. They compete for your cover. As I always said in my description below, I give all of the resources that I specifically use, my affiliate links, the things that I personally use for all of my books. And then the next thing is we're going to set up your KDP account, which is what Tim did. He set up the account. And the final thing would be posting the manuscript, the cover, the categories, keywords, and description. Okay, I know it sounds like a lot, but once we've got the book written and edited and we've got our cover, the excitement drives the motivation to hit these last few buttons. And if you haven't done it already, then do it. If you've got your manuscript and you've got your cover, do not waste any time when you reach this point. Now, in Tim's case, he was starting at the very beginning of this entire process. So what happened was, I've been following up with Tim, and he actually managed to get through all of these steps in a period of about 1 month, which was unbelievable. The thing was, he posted on the book on Amazon with only 4 weeks after the free discovery session, because he was so dedicated. Now, we're not talking about a book that's 1,000 pages or something. I think his book was only like 30 pages or 50 pages. It was a very short book, but he was able to get it on there. And the thing was, he wasn't seeing many sales on the book. He chose the correct niche and he was posting the book. The cover could be improved a little bit, but it's his very first time working with 99 Designs and trying to get it sorted out here. And sometimes we're not graphic designers, so we don't know which types of covers. And that's one of the reasons we were using KDSpy to look at his competitors' covers to see what exactly they were doing, the top sellers in his niche. And he was deviating a little bit from that. But like we talked about, we're not going for perfection on our very first book. We're just trying to get a book on the market so that we have something that we can improve upon. If we wait for perfection, you will sell nothing. You will build no audience. So this has to hit the market so that we're able to do it. And so he was able to start with the next set, which is, as we're going back and forth during the coaching wise, with the marketing phase on his books. Content marketing, running ads, an email list, and then we continue. Now, if I said do all of this from the start, you would completely be overloaded and overwhelmed. That is doing self-publishing the difficult way. A lot of people, and I've seen so many courses out there where they go through all of these steps and they tell you all of these things you need to do, and you're just left, well, where am I supposed to even begin? There's so many things I need to do. And I'm telling you, the easy way of doing it is we go through the steps the first time, like I was telling Tim, keeping and breaking it down and keeping the whole process as simple as possible the first time. Then when you come around for the next round, our next goal is to improve each of those areas so that our next book is even better. And you know what? We're able to use the very first book that we wrote with our audience as we're looking and we run ads to see how is it connecting with them. As they're joining our email list, we can get in dialogue with them, which is what I do with people who join my email list as well. We get in one-on-one dialogues where we're able to look exactly at what it is the problem or the sticking points are in the book, and we're seeing these organic reviews coming through where people are critiquing the books and telling us what exactly we need to do. And that's one of the reasons it's very important to pay attention to videos that are breaking down these exact steps. And that's why I created a video to how to get a book published. You can find it right up above me here. Check it out there. Thanks.